bald-head conductor cleared his throat and shouted,
"All off for Copper City! All off for Copper City!"
So, Hal Weber tugged nervously at his hat brim, picked up his battered suitcase, stepped off the 314 Express, and onto a wild, dangerous merry-go-round of bullets and embraces. Follow him as he weaves through a tangled net of double-cross, dynamite, and disaster with a woman who bartered torrid kisses for his soul, a man who spoke with A38 automatic, and a girl in whose shining eyes he saw reflected the tattered rags of his conscience. Buck Masson funeral today. Whole city in mourning as beloved magnate is laid to rest. As the long funeral cortege snaked its way back from the cemetery through Copper City, Hal Weber, fresh off the 314 Express from the east, paused on the depot steps and watched with interest. It was significant, seeing a funeral on his first day in this sprawling western city, but he didn't know it at the time.
Some parade. They must have buried the first citizen of the State at the very least.
You got it almost right, mister. They ain't buried the first citizen. They just laid to rest the fanciest swindle artist west of the Mississippi.
Pardon a stranger's ignorance, old-timer, but how does a crook rate such a lavish send-off?
He was an honest crook. He owned all the mines, all the banks, owned the whole city and most of the state. An honest crook he was. A politician. That ain't no funeral there. It's a celebration. Only the dang fools are celebrating too soon. The boss is dead, but his political machine's alive. This town ain't heard the last of Buck Masson's crookedness.
What? Did you say Buck Masson? Hold on there, old-timer. Is the man buried the husband of Rust Masson?
Yup, only just to be polite. You'd say she's his widow. You looking for a cab?
So that's it. She married money, and now she's got it all to herself.
I see you've heard tell of the lovely widow, eh? I didn't know her fame had spread outside Copper City. I got the fastest cab in the town.
Rust!
Speak of devil, now, about that cab.
As Hal saw her face again, 1,000 shimmering dreams flooded over him. Rust. Soft, feline rust, not a day older. And as he watched, a feeling out of the past gripped at him. A feeling of fear and hate and love. Hal jumped into the waiting cab and sped off.
Hall, what did you say? Rust, you look like you swallowed a canary. At least you might act solemnly, even though you don't feel that way. We buried father, you know.
Audrey, dear, it's none of your business if I feel like smiling. You are no one to pretend sorrow over Buck's death. You avoided him like the plague when he was alive.
I couldn't like a man who did what he did to my mother, Rust.
You little snip. He was good enough to your bills while you ran around with a bunch of crackpot students. Yes, his money was good enough.
But at least I didn't pretend to love him.
Ladies, this is a funeral procession. Shall we have a little decorum, a little respect? For the dead?
Money? Isn't that what you married him for?
Shut your nasty mouth.